world too.
Yeah.
Wait, no, yeah.
Uh,
Why would the rights violations reduct? Yeah, right. That's the so the way I'm thinking about is like the kind of calculation you put forth. Like I don't actually disagree with that. Like it. I mean, of course, if we get into empirics, it'll like if we actually get empirics on this, it might like vary. Um, but I don't have like a very strong intuition against whatever you've calculated. So I don't actually disagree with that. So I can simply grant the calculations you've made. What I'm not granting is that that would be like the amount of you like okay, let's just set some stage about like what we consider better. So on my view, like better would be something that's leading to more reduction in rights violation or more reduction in net suffering.
mhm.
Some like combination of that, or maybe even one or the other. Um, yeah, like I suspect it's gonna be some combination of both because you're gonna be reducing suffering and rights violations in either case. So it's gonna be some combination of both. However, what I'm doubting is that um, presumably if we have like vegans procreate instead of adopting, we are still gonna be like replacing nature to some extent. Like each child that will be brought into existence, there'll be some net amount of um, contribution towards niche replacement. And I'm not sure about the empirics that uh, per child the amount of niche replacement that would be caused, the amount of rights violation and suffering we would be reducing in virtue of that is going to be lower than what we would achieve by just turning non-vegan kids into vegans by adopting them.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think we. I don't think I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's why I'm agnostic, and like that's why I don't see why one is better than the other. There could be something else that makes it better, like people just having like a desire to have biological children. That would make it better. Like that would over determine the betterness. But strictly in terms of like the consequences or like the rights violations, I don't actually see why one would be better than the other.
I mean, the way I think is like, I don't know if you have like the message open, but
Mhm.
in is this group one? Yeah, group one is the non-vegan one with
Yeah.
5,000 people. Um, yeah, in group one you have the 5,000 people, and in group two you have the 50 vegans.
Uh huh.
If the way I am thinking is, if the 50 vegans um, take like, instead of procreating, just take 25. Let's say they each want one kid. They take
Yeah.
25 non-vegan kids and adopt from the non-vegan group,
Yeah.
and they go to the vegans. So now the numbers go down on the vegans,
Mm-hmm.
and the numbers go up. The numbers go
The
down on the
numbers go down in the
non-vegan.
carnist and number goes
Yeah.
up in the vegan. Yeah.
And I think that's preferable because you are not only accomplishing everything you want to accomplish as a vegan,
Hmm.
being um, having having more vegans. That means displacement, land displacement, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
And
so yeah, I think yeah, that's where the hang up. So I don't actually think you are going to be contributing to displacement there. Like at least not to like a great degree because you're not like the displacement is like a function of population increase. So the population isn't actually increasing. The population is just being like there's just going to be like a shifting of hands between group one and group two.
Okay, so if you adopt, you're not actually display. Probably you're not displacing so much because as a
Hmm.
non-vegan, they would displace more, I guess, more land. Uh,
Uh, no, I'm not even considering that. Like we could add that in. But yeah, I'm not even considering that. I'm simply just taking that if we just if they just adopt, all that is happening in this world is individuals from group one are moving to group two. So the net amount of people in the world is the same basically. So the niche replacement is going to happen when the population actually expands rather than when it stays the same.
yeah, the amount of people is the same, but you
Hmm.
are actually reducing. Like imagine if instead of adopting, you everyone has one kid.
Hmm.
So it's still 5,000 members on the non-vegan group, and
Yeah,
then you have like 75 on the vegan group.
7,500. Yeah.
It's not the number of non-vegans didn't went down, and I think that's what we want.
Yeah,
Um,
it did go down. So like in case one where you have like the adoption case and case two where you have the birth case. In case one, what's going up is the number of vegans. Um, and in case two, what's going up is uh the number of vegans obviously is going up. But in case one, what's happening is the total population isn't actually increasing. But in case two, the total population is actually increasing. So even
okay.
so, it's kind of balanced out. Like in case one, the number of vegans, though it is increasing, and the number of carnivores is decreasing, the niche replacement is constant. On the other hand, in the birth case, the amount of niche replacement is increasing, but the total population of carnivores is gonna be the same, or even increase.
Yeah, so why not prefer the other one?
Oh, well, I actually favor carnivores not breeding.
Yeah, me too, but that's not gonna decrease their numbers.
Yeah, that's true. But like that doesn't give me a reason to adopt rather than breed.
Well, to me, I think the reason is because actually we're not even sure if by adopting, I mean, technically we would be now in control of the kid. So
Until some give
yeah,
amount of time. Yeah.
but I'm not even sure if it's probably it's easier to have to give birth and teach, quote unquote, or educate someone from the start about
Hmm.
veganism. Um
No,
I don't know.
so just to, I can steel man your case. Like I can steel man it saying that you're adopting. So there is some X number of babies, and you're adopting like the orphans who are already babies. So I can, yeah, I can grant you that. Like let's say you are raising someone, um, it's virtually the same. It's just that you have different genetics. But I
Yeah.
still wouldn't
No.
be convinced by that.
Okay. You wouldn't be convinced by that. Um, I don't know. I'm not even sure now where to go. To me, I don't know.
Hmm.
Can you just repeat why you think giving birth is virtually the same?
Yeah.
Because
So let's say we have two cases. One case where we have people who are adopting, and in one case where people are um, having children of their own. Um, Firstly, I think I need to get clarity on the. No, no, I think I just need to reread the situation you post. Um, so let me just pull that 7,500. Okay, got it. Two groups. One is comprised of non-vegans, has 5,000 members, or including all the kids available for adoption. Okay. 50 members. Okay. One group is who are able to procreate. Each couple. Okay. Group two does all the same. Okay. Group one adopts instead of bringing new children. Non-vegans will stay the same. Yes, that's true. If group two adopts instead of procreating, um, from group one will have 25 less non-vegans. Even if they decide to have kids, that's going to be 7 4, 7 5 instead of 7. Yeah, so I don't actually disagree with. So the thing is, in case one, where you have both the groups adopting, um, yeah, I can grant that. When you have both the groups adopting, that's better than both the groups procreating. Um, but I don't see how it follows that is better for me to adopt. I mean, because I think we are fundamentally answering different questions using this hypothetical. Like this hypothetical is going to be geared towards whether it would be better if everyone adopts or if everyone breeds. So if everyone adopts and everyone breeds, yeah, of course I would rather everyone adopts. But that's not the case we are talking about. Like in making, you know, when we're talking about making babies, like when we are making babies, what we're talking about is there's world one where I make a baby, and there's world two where I adopt. What's so what would be the empiric, like I was like, why would I say that the world in which I adopt there will be like less rights violations or less suffering relative to the world where I don't adopt and I give my own, I make my own children, and I'm holding all, the rest of the world constant. Like the rest of the world will just go as it is, and then we're just like isolating on this choice, and that I think is more suited to answer that question.
Well, I think it's because you are, let's say, okay, you have this choice of adopting. You can
Hmm.
either adopt or have your own baby.
Yeah.
If you adopt, you
Hmm.
are reducing the uh, if let's say the baby, yeah, let's say
Hmm.
it's a baby. Let's say the baby you adopt will be vegan.
Hmm.
You are actually reducing the number of non-vegans by one, and that's
By
still
one, yeah.
um, at least. I mean, it's better to reduce the other side. In my view, I think it's better to reduce the numbers in the other side and to stop people from making rights violations than to keeping the number the same and adding one vegan in our side.
Right, but that's also going to reduce rights violation in virtue of the niche replacement, which is not going to happen if you adopt.
Hmm.
So the point is that both of them are good in the sense that both of them are going to be reducing some net amount of rights violations. Like by adopting, you're reducing rights violations by turning one potential carnist vegan, and like you've like changed their path. On the other hand, you have given birth to presumably a vegan. Um, like we can get rid of all the assumptions that this vegan will go forward and do activism. We're getting all of that, getting rid of all of that. We're just saying that okay, in virtue of me giving birth to this child and contributing to a population increase, um, I have replaced some wildlife, and that has caused a net reduction in rights violations.
Can
So
I just
now the question would be just is which one is greater?
yeah? Can I was just about to
Yeah.
to ask about this. Um, do you actually have numbers saying that um, you know the displacement by having your own baby? will
Hmm.
be greater than, mm, I mean, yeah, than having someone that already exists to switch to vegan.
I don't, but the way I think about this is that like the niche replacement is happening because the population is increasing. Um, Otherwise, there's actually not much incentive for the niche replacement to happen. Like it's happening in virtue of one extra individual um, needing more resources. Whether that's like parking lots or whether that's more crops or whether that's like just building a house or something like that. I'm not really sure about that, but
Oh, okay.
adding, mhm,
You know what? I think you
yeah.
just changed my mind. I think, yeah, I think now I think it's better to have babies. Uh, yeah, because we
Okay,
can still
so
have.
mhm.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
say
So what
something.
what changed your mind? Like because I don't know.
Because I think a lot internally.
Yeah,
Uh, and
that's good. Yeah.
just I was thinking like, okay, I can still have babies and make the displacement thing still happening, and that's good.
Yeah.
And I can still, like in the non-vegan group, I can still make like activism to change people in there for them to not
Hmm.
be for them to be vegan.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that's what changed my mind.
That's interesting. But I mean, like just to like DA back to like devil's advocate back to you, like you could say that like okay, why would you say that you can change non-vegans into vegans by doing activism, but by adopting another child also you're increasing like so that's a one extra non-vegan that you're converting.
Yeah, because in that case, I know for sure, at least for some time, that it's gonna be vegan. While doing activism, we're not sure if people are gonna change or not. We're just assuming everyone is not a piece of shit. Uh,
Uh yeah, but wait, I'm not wait.
yeah, do you want me to repeat something?
Uh so so you said you're now convinced it's better to have kids, right?
I'm not convinced it's better to have kids. No, I now I am convinced it's better. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I said. So yeah, you're now convinced that it is better to have kids. So I'm just like playing a little devil's advocate. I'm taking like your previous position and I'm like you're adding one extra child. uh, yeah, like you are converting X amount of non-vegans, which you will do anyway, but now you have one extra child that you are converting. So in that case, what do you think is better?
sorry, can you just repeat?
Yeah, so you said you're now convinced having kids is better.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm just like playing a devil's advocate. I'm taking the view that you took initially, which was to say that maybe breeding is better. Sorry, maybe adopting is better.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like I don't actually hold the view, but I'm just devil's advocating right now. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's say I say that, yeah, let's say I take that position. I'm like, okay. Um, Yes, you are going to convert X amount of non-vegans into vegans in both cases, in the breeding case as well as the adoption case, because you're going to be doing activism. But
Sure.
in the breeding case, sorry, in the adoption case, you're also converting one extra child to veganism, which you aren't doing in the breeding case. So, what makes the breeding better than the adoption?
Um, yeah, the breathing. I'm taking your position now.
Hmm.
Thinking
Yeah.
about it, breathing makes it better now that I think of it because of the displacement it's gonna get.
Hmm.
and I can also through doing activism, I can also still change the other people on the non-vegan group.
Yeah, but you're also changing non. You can do activism when you're adopted as well, right?
Well, yeah, but you're not displacing anything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I think you get it now. So yeah, I think that's the main crux. Like until and unless we have like some kind of empirical evidence that um and the reason I suspect breeding is better is the kinds of suffering, yeah, that you're going to be seeing in like nature. um it's kind of insane. Like
Yeah,
like
it's
even
pretty
if you're,
fucked up.
yeah, even if you take like the worst fucking factory farm, um I wouldn't say nature is worse, but it's at least comparable. um
Yeah,
so and I also suspect there's more like there's even like other kinds of stuff like starvation and um see watching your babies eaten alive, not getting enough water to drink.
I think I
So
go even further and say in nature what happens is way worse. Well, not way worse, but uh, maybe a little bit worse than a slaughterhouse, assuming you're
right,
not being abused by the farmers, like getting kicked and stuff. But still, I
yeah.
think getting shredded alive instead of just being stunned
Hmm.
and stuff like that, I think it's worse what happens in nature overall.
Yeah, and if you're talking about something like, um, even if you're talking about like free range or something like that, yeah, I think free range is better than fucking getting your stomach ripped open apart. But yeah, so yeah, that was why like I don't actually have a strong leaning in one. I have a leaning that breeding is better, but yeah, like I don't have a strong leaning anyway. But yeah, I think you.
Probably, yeah, probably because of the lack of
Yeah, precisely. Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
lack of
evidence.
empirics.
Yeah.
I'd be way more confident if there was something that's that approximates this, like the amount of niche replacement that a person is contributing to things like that. Maybe there
Well,
is, maybe it already exists. I don't know. Maybe somebody like now that I think about it, maybe you could take something like the trajectory of population growth and the trajectory of decrease in percentage of forest cover, something like that. That could be like a heuristic.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Okay, so let me explain. So I, I think what can be done to get sort of an idea of the extent to which each individual is contributing to niche replacement is to take like is to compare the trend of population increase. So from say 2000, sorry, say like I don't know, 1980 to 2023,
Mhm.
there was some X increase in the population, and we have let's say we have a graph for that. We have some data for that, and then you compare the amount of forest cover in the world from that year to present day, and then you see the forest cover has decreased, and then based on that you can calculate that per unit
Oh, yeah.
increase in, yeah,
Mhm.
per unit increase in population, there is some X unit decrease in forest cover, and that would probably give an idea of the extent to which each individual contributes to niche replacement. Yeah, maybe something like that. I'd have to dig around.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where to find those things. But
Yeah, me right
if
now,
you're
me neither.
but if somehow you're able to reach those numbers and make the calculations, feel free to share.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I think now I favor giving birth.
Welcome to pronatalism.
I was already. I just changed my position to
Yeah,
adopting
I
instead.
know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just being cheesy here.
Oh, one more thing. What do you
Yeah.
think? Like, in one hand, I think it's pretty fucked up to, in a way, view humans as just this utility. Like, is your natalist position just because of the nature displacement? Because that's,
Um,
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not sure. Um, like I'm sure there are other things I value. Like, um, there's also like, yeah, like I've had certain experiences in life, and I would like more people to experience that. Not just people who already exist, but like more people who would probably experience it, something like that. So yeah, but it's not going to be very high up on the priority scale. Like it's yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think. Yeah, I think that's um, not in an insulting way or anything, but it's kind of selfish because it's something you prefer.
Hmm.
Uh, it's gonna end up on that because it's something you prefer to give someone, like,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, I don't really mind that.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, that because that's actually something I'd say as well, because I also have that preference,
Hmm.
but I acknowledge that's kind of selfish, but yeah.
I mean, I think selfish is sort of like a like you could say it's sort of like a loaded term. Like it carries like a negative connotation. I don't think like if selfish just means doing actions that serve one's own interest. Yeah, it's selfish in that sense, but that's not really a bad thing. Like anything that I do in life that's self-serving to some extent, it's going to be selfish. Um, I think the badness usually comes in, like the negative connotation usually comes in when that is done at the expense of someone else's well-being or something like that. And I don't think yeah, that will be like an empirical case.
Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, cool. Nice talking.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.